Welcome everybody, I'm Lizzie Brooks and this is Look Ma, No Hands Yoga. So this is for anyone who has anything going on in the wrists and the hands, whether it's carpal tunnel, arthritis, any injuries, or just discomfort from overuse. This is also for anybody who just wants to change up the practice. It can be a little fun to just see what we can do and the creativity we can bring when we can't put our hands down and hold a lot of weight there. So if you'll please hit the subscribe button for me, I really appreciate it, and let's get started. So we'll start on our backs. So come on down again. Hands can help support you to get down onto your back, but you just don't want to put a ton of weight there. And then one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. Lift your head up and then lower it down, just elongating the back of the neck. Slow your breathing. And just take a moment to release any of that frenetic, sort of chaotic energy. And welcome yourself into this practice, into these moments that are just for you. And if you have an intention you'd like to set, go ahead and set it now. Maybe it's a word, just something to come back to as you move and breathe. Inhale fully. Take a big sigh out. Reach your arms behind you, and you're just going to start to glide your elbows into a bend and your arms into a reach. So you can do inhale, reach, exhale, bend, or you can do the opposite of that. But we're just opening the pectoral muscles, front of the shoulders, and heart. And you're trying to keep the backs of the hands roughly down. Elbows don't have to touch the whole time. Let's do that one more time. And come into the bend. Good. And then from here, keep the elbows down, lift the forearms up, and then press the hands forward and any amount down. So this is just going into some internal rotation. It'll feel a little weird for the shoulders. Good to find this gentle range of movement. Inhale, take the arms up and back with the elbows down. Exhale, elbows stay bent, elbows down. Palms come any amount forward and closer to the floor. One more time like that. Inhale, take the arms back. Exhale, forearms forward and any amount palms towards the floor. And then come back up. Bring the arms in front of you, shake out the shoulders a little bit, and then maybe move the fingers and the wrists around. You can roll the wrists around if that feels okay. And then lift everything up into a ball. Wrap around your shins here with your arms. Squeeze your organs towards your spine. Draw the organs way back. And then slowly unravel back into your soles of the feet down, bent knee position. Back of the head comes back down. This time, hands down. From here, root the back of your rib cage onto the floor. So when you do that, you'll probably feel that you're tucking your tailbone a bit to get the lumbar rooted onto the earth. Keep that. You'll probably feel more engagement through the abdominals. Then from here, press into the feet evenly and let the pelvis lift any amount. Okay? So keeping the back of the rib cage down. Don't be in a rush to get it up. Once you're feeling okay there, either stay there or now continue to take the back of the rib cage any amount away from the earth. And then from here, if you want to scooch the shoulder blades a little closer in, you can. Hands can be down or facing in, or kind of cactused with the palms facing each other above the belly. Wake up your inner thighs a little bit here, glutes and hamstrings active. And then option here to lift the heels and lower the heels. Lift the heels and lower the heels. This can be small or big, stay with it. You might have to walk the feet a little further forward to make it feel better for the knees. Lifting and lowering. So we're targeting, again, that back body, working the glutes and hamstrings. Yes, we need to work them, not just lengthen them like we do so much in yoga. We're always working on stretching them, but we need to get strong here. That posterior chain. 2 more times, lift the heels and lower. Last one, I feel that burn. Lift and lower. I did a lot of jumping yesterday too, so I really feel it. Rolling down, pelvis comes down, hug the knees in, rock a little side to side. Put the left sole of the foot down, extend the right leg. So that might be a little forward here, the knee might be bent. Place your hands and interlace them behind the right leg, wherever that feels okay. Maybe you're a little further down the leg, maybe you have a strap around the arch of the right foot. Straighten the leg any amount and breathe. If you're really open and have a lot of flexibility and you want to extend the left leg on the ground, feel free. Relax the jaw, relax the shoulders. And then from here, bend that right knee, sole of the foot down, left sole of the foot down, pause for a moment, and then we'll go to the other side. So from here, bringing the left leg up, again, it can be wherever that's comfortable, interlace behind the leg or use a strap. Spread those toes of the top foot, probably the bottom foot too, and extend the leg only if that feels great. So we're really early in the practice, and this is a big stretch, especially if you extended that lower leg. So keep the lower leg bent if you're feeling a little bit more tight. Breathing here. And then slowly bend everything in, and then hug it all up for a ball again. This time we're going to rock and roll the ball forward and back. So place the hands right below the kneecaps, and then from here the feet will come forward and back. They'll come more towards the face and more away, and that's going to help you rock and roll all the way forward and back. When you come to the top, attempt to not let the toes touch. So round the spine, come up, and then lift the heart open. Round again, inhale back, exhale forward. Inhale back, exhale forward. Last one. Inhale back, exhale forward. Place your hands behind the thighs, roll the shoulder blades back again, and then take the shins maybe parallel to the floor. If it feels better for you to have the shins low, do that. Keep working the back body. This time we're working those higher back muscles, not just the glutes and the hamstrings anymore. And inhale and exhale. Cross the legs and come into a comfortable seated position. If you want to place a blanket underneath your sitting bones or a towel, grab that and do so. Hands to the knees, and we're going to start to circle the torso around. So you can go whichever direction you want. This can be a big or small circle. But getting into the joints, spine, low back, side body, mixing it up with breath, and then reverse the other direction. So this is really, really nice if you've been sitting a lot and you just want to get into the back a little bit, a little more freedom in the shoulders. And then from here, lean forward, drop the head and roll one vertebra at a time all the way back up. Bloom the shoulder blades back at the top and shake it out. Good. Look a little side to side. So opening through the cervical spine now. And then look forward and then take one ear towards one shoulder and then the other. So now we're getting, whoo, snap, crackle, pop. Side to side. Or is yours doing that too? And then come back up. Cross your legs in the opposite direction. Circle around. We'll just do 3 or 4 circles here. The reason why we switch the leg position is because it changes what's happening in the hip and reverse that rotation. So the leg you have forward now is likely the leg that doesn't usually come forward. So we have a dominant leg, dominant hip. That's usually a little more open, and so how we sit is usually habitual. And then drop the head round the spine and one vertebra at a time. Let's stack all the way up to the top and sigh that out. All right. From here, we're going to come onto our forearms and our knees. So I am going to place a blanket underneath my knees for this one, and I invite you to do that as well. So here we are on the forearms, taking care of our wrists, palms just gently down. Knees are underneath the hips rather than forward of the hips. And then a little bit of a puppy pose into the spine and shoulders. Inhale, lift the hips, lift the heart a bit. Exhale, round the spine, drape the tail, drape the head. Inhale, take that in the opposite direction, roll it up. Use your exhalation to really empty the lungs as you round in. One more time, inhale, roll it up. And last time to exhale and round it in. Inhale into neutral. Now we're gonna either stay here or you have an option to come into a forearm plank. I'm going to interlace my fingers. That feels better for my wrists. I invite you to. You might just walk one leg back and then knee down and then the other leg back and knee down, or come on into it, full forearm plank. It depends on the level of challenge you want in your practice today. Breathing here. Hug the organs back towards the spine. You don't want to be sagging or overlifting, right there in between. And then from here, if you haven't switched sides and you're doing the knee down option, then switch sides. Find your breath. So just because we're not using the hands today on the floor doesn't mean we're not working. Quite the contrary. And then everybody lower the knees down and take the knees either together or separated, whatever you like for your child's pose, and we'll come into that child's pose. So you can make a little pillow with your forearms, or arms can be forward or back. Breathing. And just roll the wrists around a few times here before we transition. And then we'll transition into a malasana, into a squat pose. So from here, you're just gonna tuck your toes under, heels turn in. They're pointed generally a little bit towards each other. And your knees are pointed out roughly 45 degrees, same direction as the toes. So if you need to put a prop, a block, a pillow underneath your sitting bones, feel free. Or if you want to fold a blanket under your heels, especially if your heels are lifted, do that. So now we're into the groin a little bit more here. You can use your hands together and open your elbows into the inner thighs a little bit here to open the groin, but don't press so hard into the hands that it bothers the wrists. Free the neck, make space for your breathing, make space for that hip opening, give it some time. And then from here, fingertips to the floor, hips up, toes point forward, widen your stance, so your feet are gonna go roughly to the outer edges of your mat, and just sway a little side to side here. Sweetly into the hamstrings. You can keep your hands on your ankles if you want. You could bring your hands to your waist, whatever feels good. And then from here, bear pose. Knees are pointing in the same direction as your toes, straight forward. Hips are knees distance or just a little bit higher, not lower. Now from here, either keep your fingertips down, you're not really putting any weight into the hands here, or you can take your arms back to the sides or forward, which I find to be the most difficult. Breathing here in bear pose, wake up your inner thighs, hug your organs towards your spine. Breathing here, tons of work, really working the legs today. 3, 2, 1. Transition this into a wide-legged chair pose, arms where you need them to be. So if you need to change the arm position, do that. Optional lift of the heels. Shoulders roll onto the back. Breathing here. Really, really finding the work in the legs. Don't run away from it. It's there. You're stronger than you think you are. Lower the heels and then inhale. Take the arms up and bring the hands back to the heart. Woo, shake that out. Bring your hands onto your waist and just draw a big circle or a small circle if that feels better. And then we'll draw that both directions. Opening there. Whew. And then come back in. Take your feet into a mountain pose. So you want to take them whatever distance apart you feel really balanced, and then bring your hands back to your heart. From here, half sun salute. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees any amount, fold. Inhale, rise halfway up. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees any amount as you inhale all the way back to stand. And exhale, hands through to your heart. Now bring your hands to your waist, shift your weight over into your left foot, bend the right knee up and in towards you. Draw a circle, a big, slow circle with your right knee. So this is gonna really work the balance. And then the other direction. It's also gonna work the core, the hips, all of that. Now you can either stay here for the hold or extend your right leg any amount, or like you did before, interlace behind the right thigh. Then bend that knee, place that foot down in front, so not right in front, but over to the right, and stepping it like you're taking a step. Root that down into the floor, land into it, roll the left heel up, press the arms back, shoulder blades onto your back like you're doing a cobra pose, soften your right knee, and now press and lift the arms and the left foot. Breathing here in your standing back bend, your heart is high, so it's not like warrior three here. You're working that posterior chain. Glutes, hamstrings, calf, spread your left set of toes. And then mountain pose, breathing here. Steady and even through the breathing and through the posture. Then shift your weight over into your right foot, hands can be on your waist. Lift your left knee in. Draw a circle. Slow is the word here. Slow, large circle, one direction, and then the other direction. When you come back forward, either choose to stay here, go for extension here, or interlace and hold beneath the leg. Then bend that knee, step it forward just like you're taking a step, land there, soften into the left knee, lift the right heel, and then maybe stand and press back. You're pressing back with both hands and the right foot. Coil that cobra pose into the back, spread the right set of toes so you don't get a cramp in that right calf. Breathe. And then your mountain pose. And shake it all out and take a walk up to the top of your mat where we'll do another half sun salutation. Inhale to the reach. Exhale to the fold. Inhale, rise halfway up. Exhale, fold. All right, so listen closely. We're coming down onto our knees with no hands, all right? I'm going to use my trusty blanket here because my knees are a little tender. So if that's the case, go ahead and place that blanket behind you, okay, or towel, and we'll get there. So here we are in our fold. Let's take a half Uttanasana, rise halfway up for a full inhale, and exhale, empty out. Now, inhale, rise all the way up, and we'll prep for coming down to the floor. Bring your hands to your heart. Bend your knees. You're gonna take your right knee back to find the blanket. Then take your torso more over that right hip to take the left knee back. Nice. And then from here, nice and tall, pelvis comes a little more forward, working that posterior chain, lower down this time. You're going to lean back any amount. So instead of hinging at the hips, you're gonna lean back a little bit, wake up your inner thighs. A lot of work also in the quads. Breathing here. And then come all the way back up, shoulders over hips, over knees. All right, now lead with the right foot, come to standing. Take your weight over into the left knee. You can use your arms for balance. Right foot comes forward. Lean into it. Left foot, chair. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to the heart. All right, shake it out. Let's do that on the other side. Find the bend in the knees. Let's lead with the left knee down this time, finding the blanket, then the right knee. This time we are hinging. So you're gonna hinge at your hips, let your hips hover over your heels, toes are tucked. Inhale, come up. We're gonna continue to do this. This one's a little easier, so we have a few more repetitions. This time arms reach up as hips go back. Hands to the heart as hips come up. That's good for the brain too. Let's do it again. Arms reach out and up as the hips go to the hover. Hands to the heart as the hips come up. If you're not doing it exactly like me, don't worry. Last one, arms reaching out and eventually up as the hips hover. Exhale, hips draw up, hands to the heart. All right, so we'll come to the front of the mat, leading with the left foot. Reach your weight over into that right knee, left foot forward. Land into that with your weight. Then chair pose. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Nice work. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Half sun salute. Inhale, rise halfway up. Exhale, fold. All right, stay in your fold. Move your props, move your blanket if you have that out to the side. And then from here, put your fingertips down, step your left foot back, and then go into a wide-legged fold. So from here on, I will mirror you guys, so my right will be your left and vice versa. Inhale, rise halfway up. Exhale, fold. You can take your palms facing up or hands to the ankles or big toes, whatever feels right for you. And breathing here, opening the back of the legs, spine, soften the neck. We'll take the left hand over to the right ankle or anywhere on that leg, and then the right hand to the waist. Inhale, get really long with the spine. Exhale, any amount of twist. So this is a big twist, and if you don't want to lift the top arm, don't. If it feels great, lift that top arm. Inhale and exhale, back to center. Soften the neck. And then we'll go to the other side. So moving over to the left ankle, right hand to the left ankle, left hand to the left waistline. Inhale, get really long. Exhale, twist. Maybe top arm comes up. Evenly distribute the weight across your feet and bend the knees any amount that feels right. Inhale here, and exhale. Sway a little side to side, whatever feels good here. And then fingertips come down, rotate the heels in, toes out. We're higher up than last time. Here we are in our goddess squat. So sometimes people think the heels and the toes are on the same line. They're not. That's gonna be really hard to balance and probably not so good for your sacrum over time. So just about 45 degrees here, knees and toes, not nose, in the same direction. Bring your hands to your heart. Breathing here. Little lift, little lower. So I was telling you, keep going, that we were gonna get into the legs a little bit today. I was not fibbing. So little lift and little lower. You can make this larger or smaller, just as long as you stay slow. And then we'll pause in the center, reach the arms out, shoulder blades onto the back, and come into a lateral. So you can either take your left hand to the waist or forearm onto the thigh, straight line or diagonal reach. Breathing here. You're not trying to collapse onto the thigh, it's more just a little bit of a kickstand. And then coming back up, and other side. Make sure that your neck is happy. So if you're taking all of your gaze kind of up and that bothers you, change the location of your gaze. And back up for the reach. Straighten everything up. Hallelujah. And bring your hands to your heart. Turn your toes forward. Shake out the knees a little bit. And then shake out the arms a little bit. Heel toe in or hop in with soft knees. And continue to shake out here. Okay. So for our eagle pose, you'll have a lot of options here. So if you have any knee tenderness, like if you have other joint pain other than your wrists, then I want you to be really careful with this one, okay? So I'm gonna show you the first option. I don't care which leg you start with, so I'm just gonna talk about top leg and bottom leg. So plant one foot, lift the other heel up, bend both knees. Then the heel that's lifted, lift that leg up, cross it over, and put those toes down on the other side of your standing foot. Breathe there. So this is for if you have any knee issues, you're gonna kickstand there and you're not putting all of your weight on your lower leg and the knee, okay? If you wanna continue to lift it or wrap it around, you can. I'm gonna kickstand with you. Whichever leg you have on top, that's the same side arm that goes underneath. Breathing here, so you can wrap the back of the hands together, or if the palms will come together, that's just fine. Breathing here. If you want to tip forward, feel free to tip forward. Maybe elbows come more towards the knees. Breathing here, organs towards the spine, hugging towards the midline. If you lean forward, rise up. And now we're going to open into a big X shape. And exhale, float the arms down. Roll the shoulders back, down and around a few times. All right, let's come back to center. Shake it out a little bit, and then whichever leg you didn't lift the heel of the first time, you'll lift that heel. Bring your hands to your heart, bend the knees. Lift the knee of the heel that's lifted, cross that leg over, and land it like a little kickstand on the toe to the other side of your standing foot. Whichever leg you have on top, same side arm goes underneath. Breathing that eagle pose. Feel free to lean forward and breathe here. And then from here, if you lean forward, slowly rise up with the torso. Unwind into that X. Exhale, float the arms down. And roll it all out, soften it out, and come back to the middle of the mat. Okay. So from here, if you like to use a strap for extended leg positions, we did that one before where we had the hands underneath the leg. You can still use that or keep the knee bent if you don't have a strap. Okay, so from here, I'm going to show you from the side. Shift your weight over into your left foot, lift your right heel. So I do this sometimes just to tell the body and the brain we're focusing on that being our standing leg by taking weight off the other leg. Then from here, bring the knee in. Okay, now here's where you choose if you're using a strap, the hand, or interlacing underneath. You can stay exactly here, maybe right hand in front of the knee, left hand to the waist, or you can come into extension, possibly yogi toe lock around the right big toe. Elongate the right waistline here, breathing. Even if the knee is bent, you're doing the same posture, okay? We don't need to have mile-long hamstrings to do yoga, okay? 3, 2, 1, bend the knee, and then we're going to come back into a standing open chain press like we did before. Breathe, work that back body. Okay, listen closely. The leg that's behind, right, that right leg is going to cross. The right foot is going to land to the left side of the left foot. Okay, so it's like that, Inhale, reach up. If you need a block to come to with the fingertips, or if you need to bend the knees, do that. And fold, breathing through the hamstrings, the IT bands, and maybe you'll even feel this in the glutes. I know I do. And then from here, keep the feet crossed. Inhale, come all the way back up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Now separate your feet and find your mountain pose and your breath. Okay, from here, find your balance, left heel lifts. Find your breath as well. Soften your right standing leg. As you're ready, left knee comes in. Maybe you're holding on with both hands or one hand. Maybe you'll come into extension of that left leg with a strap or yogi toe lock or holding somewhere on the leg. Breathing here. Elongate the left waistline. So we have a tendency to kind of hike up that hip. Elongate there. And then bend the knee. And let's take our standing high-hearted press, open chain reach. So it's almost like when you're doing your dancer, but you're not holding or gripping here. You're having to use that muscular energy and tension to really work to keep the lift. And then cross the left leg over behind the right. Inhale, reach up with both arms. Exhale, folding here. Press down into the feet. Really feed that stretch into the hips and spread your breath out through that stretch. Keep the legs crossed if you can for your inhale, rising all the way back up. And exhale, hands through to your heart. Uncross the feet. Take a little walk. Do a little No, don't do that. Come up to the top of the mat. Whatever you do, don't listen to me. Inhale, half sun salute, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, fold. Coming all the way up to stand, however that feels good. Inhalation takes you there. And exhale, hands to the heart. Okay, so we're coming down onto the floor again. We're not going to use our hands. Of course, you can use a wall for stabilization and kind of use the fingertips or fingertips down to the floor if this doesn't feel right to you. But we were just working some cross-legged positions, right? So we worked our eagle pose and then we worked our standing forward fold with the legs crossed. That was a prep to use to get down to the floor. See? Ha-ha. So from here, whichever feels just more intuitive to you, cross that leg in front of the other. Don't overthink it, just cross that leg in front of the other. All right, now from here, see if you can, and you can keep your hands close to the floor in case you need to use the fingertips, and that's fine as long as you're not jamming into the wrist. But see if you can cross the feet, put the hips down, and bring the legs forward and shake it out. If that did not look graceful, don't worry. You could also use the knees down like we did prior to come down. All right. And then from here, bring those legs forward, shake them out. You can just put the fingertips down for stabilization or put the hands on the legs. Find any tension through the neck and the jaw, ease that out. Okay, from here, you're going to roll over to the right side, fingertips come down, bend your knees, bend the knees, feet over to the left. All right, so we're coming onto the forearms. So it's gonna take a little bit of core work to situate ourselves there. Forearms come down, rise up to the knees, and then you're back in puppy pose. I'm gonna scoot back on my mat a little bit more here. Just a couple cat-cows in your puppy pose here. Not jamming into the wrists, not making L shapes in the wrists at all today. L shapes in the elbows, sure. And then from here, we have round number 2 of our forearm plank with an option for side plank, okay? So if you know that's too much, then come into a child's pose and join us whenever you're ready, all right? Rome wasn't built in a day. Do what you need, please. So here we go. If you want to interlace the fingers, you can. Plank pose. You can even do a knees down plank here where the knees are much further back than the hips. Breathing. Make sure not to take the brunt of this in your neck. All right, so we're going to take the right forearm down. Actually, I'm just going to say put one forearm down. Put a forearm down parallel to the short edge of your mat. Stack your feet or stagger your feet and take the top arm up or to the waist. Lift that low hip up, maybe extend the top arm alongside of the top ear if that feels good. And then top arm up and come back into your forearm plank hold, fingers interlaced. All right, well, we'll just have one more side. So from here, transitioning other forearm parallel to the short edge of your mat, feet are stacked or staggered, L shapes with the ankles, top arm could be up. Lifting that lower hip, maybe arcing the top arm over the ear. Top arm up and back to your forearm plank hold. Now knees come down and build your favorite child's pose. Whatever that looks like. Make space just for breathing. And then from here, we'll come out into Sphinx pose. I mentioned that earlier, and I think I skipped over it. So here we go. Elbows down, fingertips wide, shoulder blades onto the back as you're dragging your hands back a little bit here to drag the sternum a little more forward. I like to take my feet a little wide in this one. It feels better for my lumbar spine. So play around with that positioning and see what feels best. Breathing here. Strengthening the back and finding flexibility in the spine doesn't mean you have to do these giant Cirque du Soleil back bends, okay? How often do you just do something like this? Probably not very often. because we don't do this in our regular everyday stuff. So this is impactful, it's enough. And then from here, lower all the way down. You can place one side of the head to the forearms or forehead or chin, and just breathe. We'll come into a little asymmetry. Good for the brain, good for the back body. And then from here, so arms come forward into a bit of a Y. Feet, again, not too wide, but not so close. So whatever feels good for you. We're gonna alternate here. So lift the right arm and the left leg. And come down. I should say lift the torso with that, because you could just lift the right arm and the left leg without the torso. Let's lift the torso too. Left hand, left arm, right leg and torso. And down. First side, right arm, left leg, and down. With the torso moving, left arm, right leg, and down. One more time each side, how about that? Lifting and lowering. Last one, lift and lower and rest. And then from here, forearms come down. Tuck your toes, lift your pelvis, press your knees down and walk it all the way forward and transfer yourself onto your back. From here, pause for a moment and just let the body soften a little bit. And then we'll go for a broadening stretch. So bring your legs in front of you. We did a lot of hip flexor condensing and work. So let's let that open. And then reach and grab your left wrist with your right hand and stretch, unless that bothers your wrist. You can heel toe, press through the ball joints, press through the heels. And then grasp the other wrist, kind of not really the wrist, but below it. And just stretch, point and flex through the ankles. Stretch the spine. And then reach everything. And lower the arms, soles of the feet onto the floor. Okay, so we'll go back into just a little bit more of the strengthening and then the stretching, and then that's it. So from here, soles of the feet down, lift the pelvis just a little bit. Don't overlift the rib cage at all. Just lift the pelvis a little bit. Initiate that movement. And then tuck your tailbone a little bit so it's like your lumbar is getting a little longer. That's going to put the work differently in the legs. And then, you might have done this with me already before, you can lift the heels and lower. If you want to walk the feet a little further forward to do that, feel free. You can lift and lower, or lift and hover, lift and hover. I really like this one for strengthening the back body and making sure that we're nice and slow with it. Lift and lower. It doesn't take long before you feel that burn. I'm having deja vu, having done this before. And then 2 more times. And lower all the way down. Hug it all in, rock a little side to side. Nice work. All right, pick one leg, stretch it up any amount. You know the drill. Maybe extend the lower leg, maybe not. Spread both sets of toes and breathe. Whichever leg is on top, bend that knee, cross the midline, unfurl the other arm, and find your twist. Gaze can be wherever the neck feels happiest. And come back into the midline. Other leg gets whatever amount of stretch feels right, strap or not. Only extend the lower leg if that feels great to you. Only if you feel like you really need it. And then the leg that's on top, the knee bends, and you'll cross the midline any amount and unfurl the opposite arm, maybe into a cactus or a straight arm, wherever that feels right. Same thing with the neck. And come back in towards the midline. Knees can stay bent or legs can go long for your Shavasana. One hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, or wherever else you like to keep the arms. So thank you so much for being here. And when this no hands flow, or at least no wrists flow, maybe a couple fingertips. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Stay in Shavasana as long as you like. And please let me know in the comments how it went, and if you have any other requests for any flows you would like to do, or even just yoga that isn't actually a flow. So I take a lot of requests and make videos based on those. I hope that you liked this. If you did, please hit the thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. It's all free, and I want to keep doing this, so the more I grow, the more videos. Thanks so much.